We just want to stick in here. You're never, ever, ever going to be in a place where calibration won't be something that you're going to want to do. So calibrating, refining, evolving is just a state of eternal life. And as you relax into it, because we're hearing how beautiful it is, and we can feel a quest for perfection, and we just want to soften the blow a little bit, because there's always going to be something more to calibrate to, because you're a creator. And when you realize that the calibration is the creating, the calibration is the hands in the clay, it's the stuff you want, not the problem that you're solving. Calibration is the thing you want to do. Then you feel appreciation for the new thing that shows you a new desire, and the emotion that shows you a need to calibrate.
Yes. So the tiny thing that comes into my mind.
Why do you want to diminish the tripping point? This is what we're really wanting to get at. Let it be a big thing that comes into your mind. It doesn't have to be a tiny thing that comes into your mind. You see what we're getting at?
I think so.
What's going on with you a little bit is not wanting there to ever be anything wrong. You don't want to own up to that. But deliberate creators, you kind of get like that, because you're calibrating to how it looks to others rather than the fun that you're having, because your inner being is always going to be a step ahead of you, because you keep mixing it up and asking for more. So there's always going to be a reason to calibrate, and we want you to feel good about that tiny little bit, not trying to diminish the tiny little bit because you're a little embarrassed that there is a tiny little bit. That's big.
That's huge, because that's what it's about. You just helped me realize that when I'm describing it to people and I'm so excited about it, I have this tiny knowing that, oh, it's not exactly like, I feel like, oh, do I need patience for it to have the sales that I want it to have?
Well, we want you to know
that
if you weren't a creator, and if that did not mean that you are a constant calibrator, then you would be very bored. And the thing that is interesting to us is that as humans, you have settled right into the manipulation of all things. We want you to realize that there's always going to be a reason to take a new stance and find a new feeling place, and to guide thoughts in order to produce emotions. This gallery is the opportunity for you to have so much opportunity to reach, feel, calibrate, explode, reach, feel, calibrate, explode. Everything that everyone wants is for the feeling of it, and humans want those highs, and those highs come by reaching further than you are and calibrating to it, and then things coming into alignment. That's the deliciousness of life. So you have something to calibrate? That tiny little thing?
Yes, that tiny little thing. And I think I got a little bit, they're very high-end pieces. And I still have faith that it is going to have a flow to the right people finding the right pieces, and me finding the right avenues to put those pieces in front of people and have them.
All right, so let's take understanding of law of attraction to a new level. What if there were people on the planet seeking high-end pieces, and you are the avenue through which they will attract those?
Love it.
In this vortex where everything that is wanted by everyone is known, isn't it completely logical that there's already a momentum going, and that the inspiration that came to you caused you to dovetail into momentum that was already in place? And doesn't that make you feel like it can't go wrong? You can open the floodgates or close them depending upon how you choose to think about it. But if you've been thinking in terms of high-end pieces are rare because buyers of high-end pieces are rare, then you're calibrating to a slowdown rather than to a speed up.
That's true. That's so true.
And couldn't you say all of these things about those high-end pieces? Everyone on the planet would like to have these, or no one on the planet can afford these, or some people on the planet can afford these, or I don't have to figure that out. they're flowing through me, and people are doing whatever calibrating they're doing. You're not responsible for everybody else's point of attraction. You just want to calibrate to your own highest good. So what's your highest good? You can feel it when it happens. There aren't enough people to buy these pieces, or this planet is awash in money. There are people looking for all kinds of things, and I'm a cooperative component to that.
Absolutely. And that's the truth of it. I appreciate it.
It's fun, isn't it? Oh. Because what happens is, when you let a condition, a situation, be the reason that you predominantly calibrate to something, like maybe sales aren't as great as you had hoped that they would be, or not as consistent as you would like them to be. You notice that, which means you calibrate to that. And then a whole lot of other things that you don't realize you're calibrating to also, because they are things that you've been in the process of letting go of. In other words, you do believe in abundance, and you've shown yourself your ability to attract abundance. But do you believe in the abundance of others?
Yes.
And do you believe that the law of attraction is gathering up the cooperative components? And aren't abundant others cooperative components to your magnificent gallery?
Yes.
But what's wonky in there? So what happens is, you'll stumble across some conversation with someone where you'll recognize, oh, this is that calibrating that I've been doing that's a little bit wonky. So has anything like that happened?
Yes. Well, it's when I want to share how great the gallery is with a friend that I'm talking to, and then there's a part of me that feels like it feels so wrong when I say, oh,
because so this is what's happening. We really want you to hear this. Happens to all of you all of the time. You've been gathering this momentum for a while, and it is moving really fast, and the gallery is evidence of that. So you are vibrating along with your inner being on a high frequency of abundance and well-being and so forth. Not everybody that you are conversing with is vibrating there, and so sometimes you'll be in a situation where you're wanting to present your gallery or your idea of your gallery to someone who's not up to speed with that. Now the question is, this is where your work comes in. Under those conditions, are you able to remain calibrated to the magnificence of the gallery, or do you calibrate to this friend or to this person who's not yet up to speed with that, who still has the attitude, there are people starving and we're paying this kind of money for this kind of thing? Because there are a lot of those kind of thoughts going around. But the question isn't, are those thoughts right or wrong thoughts? The question isn't whose thoughts are the right thoughts. The loveliest thing about the law of attraction is that everyone is attracting cooperative components from each other, and you're all seeking that harmony with each other. And you want harmony. Most humans are seeking harmony with other humans because they're wanting to validate their position. That's why they gather together in so many groups that are pushing against so many things. There are a lot of people that feel a lot of ways about economy and about their own abundance. There are a lot of people who feel a lot of ways about beautiful things to buy, about things that are spiritual and things that are practical. In other words, it's really a mixed bag out there. And it's so easy as humans, in your quest to harmonize with someone, you do it almost at an unconscious level. If they have a strong vibration going, you often, without even knowing you're doing it, calibrate to whatever they've got going on. Have you ever been really proud of something until somebody who was jealous showed up in your experience, and then you tried to downplay it so that they wouldn't feel bad? That's what we're talking about. Did you ever deliberately miss questions on a test because your classmates thought you were too smart? Did you? Well, did you ever pretend that you thought something was funny when it wasn't funny? Because you didn't want to hurt the person's feeling that was laughing about it? In your quest to get along with people, don't you calibrate to things that are not up to your highest standard? There's a whole lot of people calibrating to not enoughness of a whole lot of things. What we're asking of you, this is not who you are. We're not describing who you are or what you know. What we're really wanting to talk about here is the way the law of attraction integrates with you and with the lives of others that you are interacting with. And we want you to realize that unless you are consistently tuned in, it is logical that someone who has a strong feeling about something is going to activate something in you that was once active in you a lot, that you thought you were done with, that you're not really done with because it was activatable again. And you know when those things are going to show up? You know when those things that are potentially activatable, that don't serve you, you know when they show up? In the middle of your biggest dreams, in the middle of your biggest desires, in the middle of the things that matter most to you, because that's when the energy is moving the fastest, and that's when any disturbance in the force will be felt by you.